Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope you are doing great. The topic of our today discussion is about scientific and alternate approaches to investigation. Students, in this unit, you will learn how to researcher investigate to find out the to find out the problems and to reach conclusion. Okay. There are many scientific and alternative approaches to investigate. Let's move forward to discuss these approaches. Here I am your instructor Sidra Ghulam Rasool, Department of Commerce, Government College, Bima University, Faisalabad. The hallmarks of scientific research approach. My dear students, first of all, we are going to discuss the hallmarks of scientific research, which is based on these following below mentioned steps. The first step is purposiveness, second is rigor, third one is testability, fourth is replicability, fifth one is based on precision and confidence, sixth one is objectivity, second last is generalizability, and the last one is parsimony. Let's discuss these steps one by one in detail with example. Purposiveness. Started the research with a definite aim or purpose. The supervisor or the manager of an organization has started the research for a specific purpose. Focus on increasing employee commitment to the organization as this will be the beneficial in many ways like increased performance level, decreased turnover and less absenteeism of employees. Students, your research should be purposiveness and have a definite aim or purpose. And without the specific aim or purpose, there is no point to conducting a research, whether it is basic research or applied research. Clear? Your research should have definite aim or purpose. For example, your organization facing a problem of low sale day by day and people leaving your organization. Okay? Now, what you have to do, what you are going to do when you are thinking this problem and start conducting a research on it, there should be a specific or definite purpose behind that research. You are going to find out the reasons why sales are going down, why the organization not performing well. So you need to find out the reasons. Clear? You have a definite aim or purpose to conducting a research. The next and second step is rigor. Rigor means carefulness, scrupulousness, and the degree of exactness in research investigation. In order to make a meaningful and worthwhile contribution to the field of knowledge, research must be carried out rigorously. Conducting a rigorous research requires a good theoretical knowledge and a clearly laid out methodology. This will eliminate the bias, facilitate proper data collection and analysis, which in turn would lead to sound and reliable research findings. Okay, this is how I'm going to achieve my purpose. Why I started this research? What is the purpose behind it? The next step is how I am going to achieve my purpose. So you must have both theoretical foundation and methodological design in your study. You must have an idea of your variables that you are going to use this study and relationship among these variables. Clear? Students, so they should have they should have a thorough and clear theoretical foundation. Without a proper theoretical foundation, without a proper literature or without knowing relationship among these variable, among these using variable, your research worthless. Your research, your study will not have a rigor. So you need to identify what are the theoretical foundation on which you are find out relationship among variables. Students, why we facing a lax rigor? If you only select, let's we discuss it with the one example. If you only select while conducting your research, if you only select 10 to 12 employees from your organization, your assumption is just on these 10 to 12 employees. The conclusions are incorrectly drawn because they are based on the responses of just a few employees. Okay, so there is methodological problem. Your organization could be based on 5,000 employees. Your organization could be based on 10,000 employees. So you need to have a representative sample in your study. This is called rigor. Clear? The next is testability. Research should be based on testable assumptions, hypotheses developed after a careful study of the problems involved. The scientific research should enable this testing of logically developed hypotheses to see whether or not the data collected support the hypothesis developed. Now, this is the purpose of our research. This is the purpose of my research. This is basically how I'm going to study my variable relationship, why and how these relationships exist, and these are the methodological considerations that I have taken while conducting my research. Always remember, clear? This is how I am measuring my variable, how I am going to measure my variable, how I am going to analyze my variable to find out solutions to a problem. Okay, the next step is that you have to make sure is about your research hypothesis. What you have to make sure about your research hypothesis. Your proposed research hypothesis should be testable. Clear? Testability is a property. Testability is a property that applies to the hypothesis of a study. Your hypothesis must be predictable and testable. You should be able to predict the result of your hypothesis in your study, and you should be able to test your hypothesis. Clear? Let's say we got hypothesis in my research paper, and in paper researchers say entrepreneurship education has a significant impact on entrepreneurial motivation. So I have predict and tested, and I can say yes, it can impact. It can impact based on my theoretical foundation, based on my literature, and based on my methodological design. Because I have collected data, I have analyzed and evaluated the data to test these hypotheses, and these follow-ups give me the result that these are related to each other or not. Clear, students? The next is replicability. Research findings should be command more faith and credence if the same results are evolved on different set of data. The results of the test hypothesis should be spotted again and again when the same type of research is repeated in similar circumstances. This will ensure the scientific nature of the research conducted and more confidence could be placed in the research findings. It is also eliminates the doubt that the hypotheses are spotted by chance and ensure that the findings reflect the true state of affairs. Now, students, replication basically demonstrate that our hypotheses have not been spotted merely. by chance, but are reflective of the true state of affair in the population. Clear? And the result of our hypothesis should be spotted again and again. Always remember, class, the result of our hypothesis should be spotted again and again if the research is repeated in similar situation. For example, if I am saying entrepreneurship education positively impact on entrepreneurial motivation. Now, if I find out yes, it's really impact and a significant impact, there is a positive relationship. Now, this positive relationship should be or may be replicated under the similar circumstances. If I am going to conduct research in education sector or in any other related sector, I should expect a similar relationship results. I hope you can understand. So your results are replicated. It should be repeated, and this will give you confidence in your getting results. Clear? The next is precision and confidence. Design the research in a manner that ensure that our findings are as close to the reality. First, we are going to discuss about precision. What is precision? Precision reflects the degree of accuracy or exactitude of the results on the basis of the sample to what really exists in the universe. So class, you should have both precision and confidence in your finding, in your results, in your research conclusion. Okay, so precision refer to the reality. Precision refer to the closeness of the findings to reality based on the sample. Now how can you gain precision in your research, in your study? Class, precision indicate how well a method or instruments give the same results when a same single sample is tested repeatedly. Class, always remember, precision measurement may or may not be accurate. That is close to the accepted value. Precision measurement may or may not be accurate. Always keep in your mind that is close to the accepted value. Class, this is not merely enough to be precise, but it is also important to be confident about your research results that you have to get after analytical techniques, after applying analytical tools. Okay. Okay. The next is confidence. Confidence refer to the probability that our estimations are correct. It is important that we can confidently claim that 95% of the time our results will be the true, and there is only a 5% chance of our being wrong. So how do you gain confidence about your results? How do you make sure about your results? Class, you can gain confidence about your research results when you have got large samples, when you have when you have studied or measured based literature, when you have used the right steps of methodology, when you have assessed the exact relationship among variables after proper analytical techniques. After following these tools and techniques, we can confidently claim that 95% of the time that our results will be true, and there is only 5% chance of our being wrong. So class, this is also known as confidence level. The next step is objectivity. The conclusion drawn through the interpretation of the results of data analysis should be based on facts of the finding derived from actual data and not on our own subjective or emotional values. Scientific objectivity is a property of various aspects of science. It expresses the idea that scientific claims, method, results, and scientific themselves are not or should not be influenced by particular perspectives, value, judgments, community bias, or personal interest, to name a few relevant factors. Class, you should not just assume your research. You not have to provide assumptions of your research. Okay, you should not just assume your research. You should have to collect the data, and based on the collected data, you should obviously objectively assess. Okay, this is why I am saying my hypothesis will spotted, and this is why I am saying my hypothesis will not be spotted, because I have got empirical evidence for this purpose, because I have collect and analyzed data to support my findings, to support my results. I have collect data, analyze data. I have evaluate my data to support my findings. Okay, this it's not based on just assumptions. That's why I am saying entrepreneurship education positively impact on entrepreneurial motivation. I am not saying it just because of my personal opinion or my personal intuition or my own knowledge. Okay, I am saying this because I have collected data and tested this data through particular software and analytical techniques. Okay, my dear students. The next is generalizability. Generalizability refers to the scope of applicability of the research findings in one organizational setting to other setting. Class, what is generalizability? Very simple. Generalizability is a measure of how useful the results of a study are for a broader group of people or situations. If the results of a study are broadly applicable to many different types of people or situation, the study is said to have a good generalizability. Now, there could be a wider generalizability and there could be a limited generalizability. Class, basically generalizability means if 10 to 15 people think in a particular manner. What I'm saying? If 10 to 15 people think in particular manner, and can I say the 100 people could think in same manner? Let's say if there is an organization that has 1000 or 2000 employees, and I have collect from only 20 to 30 employees. Okay, in an organization there is 1000 to 2000 employees, and I have collected data from only 20 to 30 employees. Can I say the whole 1000 or 2000 employees think in a same way? Absolutely not, class, because I have collected very limited data. I have collected very limited sample from 20 to 30 employees out of 1000 to 2000 employees. So we can never judge our findings just on the base of 20 to 30 employees. Our findings based on just 20 to 30 employees is not generalizable to the rest of the employees. Okay, so for wider generalizability, you need rigorous sampling design. Okay, you need rigorous sampling design. You need a detailed or representative sampling design, which we will discuss in detail in our sampling unit. Okay, class. Okay, class. The next is parsimony. The principle of parsimony reflects the notion that researchers should strive for simple measurement models that use the minimum number of parameters needed to explain a given phenomenon. And this definition is given by Rigor and Macrolides in 1999. Simplicity in explaining the phenomena or a problem that occur, and in generating solutions for the problem, and it can be introduced with a good understanding of the problem and the important factor that influence it. Class, in this step, basically it's saying that using limited number of factors to explain our outcomes, using very short factors to explain our results, to explain our outputs. For example, if we got two or three variables that explain a particular outcomes, and there may be 10 to 15 variables that explain a particular outcomes. For example, there are two variables like employee satisfaction and employee commitment that explain 45% of the change as to why people do not leave the organization. And then there are maybe another 10 factors that add 3% to it. Okay, so Parsimon output would include just these two variables, which the two variables, employee satisfaction and employee commitment, because these two are explaining 45% of the change. So we do not need to focus on the rest of 3% because they are not explaining much change. Therefore, parsimony can help us improve the understanding of the model. Parsimony can help us improve the understanding of the model. That's why using limited number of factors, using limited number of variables to explain the outcome is called parsimony. Clear, class? My dear students, I hope today's session is very informative for all of you in your real life practical research work, inshallah. In case of any query, you can get in touch with me via email mentioned below. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.